Hi there, Lupee. Nice to see more work from you. Let's take a look and see what you did in this set. This is about green energy. Let's see what you wrote. It is true that renewable energy is a widely popular source of energy throughout the world today. Some believe that green energy is risky and intermittent, which can cause negative results in society and nature. Personally, I disagree. This essay will argue that replacing fossil fuels with renewable energy is a better choice for the Earth. Okay, this is good. I like this quite a bit. The only thing that I would ask you to change is this right here. You have two clauses. Essentially, they're two different ideas, two different sentences, really. But you've combined them with a comma. That's really not enough when they're in such stark contrast to each other as these two ideas are, as these two clauses are. You really need to have a linker in between these two ideas. So I would have had yet, however, or but. Okay? So that's my one suggestion. Otherwise, I thought you did nicely there. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that humans and the environment are adopting renewable energy for a number of great benefits. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, it saves money for governments, corporations, and individuals. Okay, that's okay, fine. For example, a recent consumer report in China shows the cost of charging an electric vehicle per month is only 200 RMB. This number is only half of a car running NNING on gasoline. Okay. Secondly, coming from natural sources makes green energy makes green energy cleaner without the is than fossil fuels in the natural environment. This new energy is the type that does not release pollution into the air. Okay, this is all right. It's a little choppy. What do I mean? I mean that up to here I thought you did okay, but then from here on I didn't really feel like the language flowed with with considerable fluency. Okay. Um, Partially because what does this mean than fossil fuels in the natural environment? Like that's an expression that doesn't really make sense to me. And then here, this new energy is the type that does not release pollution into the air. This all just felt a little awkward to me. I almost kind of feel like you wanted to say something more, you wanted to say something more precise, but maybe perhaps you weren't able to. But that's definitely the feeling I got here. Like there's a lack of precision, it's just kind of choppy. So what could you have said instead? Let's see. You could have said, um, because you know what? Fossil fuels also come from natural sources, all right? But the thing is that green energy comes from renewable sources. So let's try it a little differently, shall we? Secondly, coming from renewable sources like rain, the sun or wind, makes green energy cleaner than fossil fuels. In fact, these energy sources do not release any pollution into the air, making them far greater for the environment. Okay, so just some changes there would have made this a lot better. All right, so let's go to your next paragraph. On the other hand, some people argue that we neglect of reliability of the renewable energy supply. I don't understand that. Grammatically, it's got some errors, and so it creates some incoherence here. Um, let's see. Let me see if I can figure out what you're trying to say. I think, um, oh, overlook maybe. Let's see. On the other hand, some people argue that we have overlooked the unreliability of the renewable energy supply. Solar power, wind power, and hydropower are the main sources of green energy. Most of them are seasonal, limited by geography. For instance, solar power cannot be worked effectively during the rainy season, and wind power can be unstable in low pressure weather. In contrast, fossil fuels are more reliable, which can be available 24/7 year round. Okay, that's fine. I'm not super happy with the fact that you put your paragraph that you support first. Typically, I recommend to students that they reverse this. In other words, put the side that you don't support first. So this should have gone first, and then this should have gone second. It gives the side that you support more weight. It makes it stay in the mind of the reader more. Putting it towards the bottom of your essay makes it act like an anchor. So just keep this in mind. It's a matter of coherence and cohesion, the way you logically organize your paragraphs. And so it's a stronger way of organizing your ideas, okay? All right, so in conclusion, I firmly believe that with the development of technology, these restricted drawbacks will find solutions. Transitioning to renewables on a personal, corporate, or governmental level will not only help us save money, but also promote a cleaner, healthier environment for the future. Okay, that's lovely. But even your conclusion makes it, for me, seem even more important to reverse your paragraphs. I mean, this whole thing about what you said, with the restrictive drawbacks, we'll find solutions. Even the way you wrote it, it makes me feel like you should have reversed this. Okay, so it's a good essay. I thought you did very nicely. Just a couple of the things that I already talked about. All right, so you should have some feedback that you can take into consideration as you move forward. Let's take a look at your map here of this island. These two maps show that there are some significant changes in the island after construction. All right, now before you jump into that, this isn't really an appropriate introduction for a map. What you want to do is you want to introduce it the way you would any chart, any diagram, anything. Okay, so how do you do it? You say, the maps provide images of an island before and after construction. Okay? But what you wrote here shows that there are some significant changes. It almost feels like an overview. So if that's the case, then it's like you don't have an introduction. So just change this around to say these two maps show an island both before and after construction. And then it is clear that this desolate island has become an attraction with an integral tourist system. I don't know about this, an attraction. That's not really appropriate. An attraction is other things like I don't know, like a tourist attraction, like someplace that like tourists flock to. We don't really know that. We don't have that information. We know that there are facilities for tourists or residents, but we don't know necessarily that it is an attraction. Okay, so don't make any kind of judgment calls that you don't have information about. Okay, so the first map shows an uninhabited island. The shape of it is like a rectangle with approximately 200 meters length and 100 meters high. Well, this should have been height or length, width actually. So length and width. There is a beach located on the west side. Okay, fine. In the second map, well, you could have mentioned some trees there, just, by the way. In the second map, we can see a number of considerable developments in this island. There are two accommodation areas. One of them is close to the western beach. The other one is in the east part of the island, just near the lake. Okay, I mentioned that the lake is man-made, okay? In the center of the island, get rid of that. In the center of the island, between the two living areas, is the commercial district where you can find a shopping mall and restaurant. There is a vehicle track around the central area which connects to the pier and eastern accommodation. Besides that, tourists can also walk to main parts of the island by footpath. Okay, so let's see. All right, you mentioned the pier. You mentioned the two areas. You didn't mention the hotel. You didn't mention that the lake was a man-made thing. These are kind of details, to be honest with you. I think that most of the really good answers mention these, and it's not really too hard to do. So essentially, you just need to mention when you said the lake, just near the man-made lake. Okay. You could have mentioned that. Let's see. You mentioned footpaths. You mentioned the pier. What did you say about the pier? Connects to the pier in the south. All right, mention where the pier is. Just a detail. It's details. But again, the details are what's going to take this from a good answer to a very good answer. So I thought you did nicely with this on the whole. It's a good job. Um, this was, like I said, a problem for me. I thought you could have been a little more specific in terms of some 163. Yeah, so it's not like this is a very long answer. I thought that you could have gone into a little more detail. Um, about the areas that I mentioned, like the lake being man-made, the fact that this is circular, the fact that the pier is at the south, the fact that there's a hotel, the fact that there are trees throughout the island. You never mention them in either map. Okay, so like I said, it's good, but it's a little short on details. And being 163 words, I think you could have afforded to maybe, you know, add a few more, just a couple of things, if not all the things that I just mentioned, at least some of them. Okay, so Lupee, this is the last set in this package. In your email, you'll see a link to a new package if you would like to continue working with us. I think you're doing really well. I'm definitely seeing improvement. I hope you're seeing that improvement as well. But I'd like you to continue making this progress. So if you'd like to continue working with us, you'll see a link to sign up for some more essay corrections. I hope you'll consider it. I hope we can continue working with you, and I want to wish you tons of luck with whatever you do.